Why hello guys, and welcome to the weekly commentary. And I'm really glad you guys are watching this amazing footage here, because as far as I can discern, this must be a actual recording of heaven. Oh, I mean Viking heaven, you know, Valhalla, where they fight all day and feast all night. This is the fight all day part. And so in my conclusions, I'm thinking that they probably get bored of fighting with medieval type weapons all the time, and so occasionally they switch it up and use actual shotguns and space weapons. And so feel free to sit back, enjoy the footage, and so you'll be able to sort of anticipate what the heavenly experience will be like. And we don't get any footage of the feasting all night part, but I bet the feast is pretty good. So I mean, they have pretty cool weapons, so you assume that the feast is somewhere on par with that. And so last commentary we talked about superpowers, and I didn't get through the whole topic and never got to superpowers, which I would create for myself if I could create some. And of course you guys suggested a whole bunch of cool superpowers in a way. I don't have time to get to a song today. The song which was requested was Try by Kobe Calais. It's a really good song, and I don't want to just half it. And so I'm going to take a little bit of time with that one, so that'll be in the next commentary. All my singing for the week was used up making my Heroes cover with the epic campaign gameplay, when you guys can go watch that, of course, as my last upload. And so that was the singing for the week, and next week I will do the Try cover with Kobe Calais. And so the first sort of cool suggestion which was made was the power to stop time. And of course I assume that when you say stop time, you mean that time stops, but you yourself can move around inside it, which interestingly is also in effect the power of teleportation. And I'm not sure if you can move objects around in time. Like if you can, like, so let's say you could pause time, walk around your house, rearrange things, and then set time up again. Basically you had infinite time. You would never miss a deadline. You would just, like, oh, I'm gonna pause time, walk around, do all my chores, time back in, and you haven't spent any time on your chores, because other people are trapped in time and you have to interact with these other people. It is slightly limited as far as that goes, that you can't, talk to your friends forever. The time that you gain would be basically all personal time, but still that's an insane power. Of course, do you age while other people's time is paused? Because if you age while other people's time is paused, then that could you start aging a lot faster than everyone, and people will just think you age horribly, and no matter how healthy you were. And of course that could be a drawback. If I'm going to have this power, I'd really like to have you not age while time is paused, because otherwise you don't actually really totally gain time. You just gain time relative to other people. So some drawbacks there, but still a really cool power. And if you have the non-aging version of it, which I'm assuming that we have, all of your reading, all your studying, all your sleeping can be done as much as you want, and then you haven't lost any time out of interacting with other people. And so obviously you would really enrich your life. And of course, you really would be a superhero on a multiple levels if you could pause time, walk over to someone, unload their gun, jack the bullet out of their chamber, put it all back together, and put it back in their hands. That could be pretty fun, because basically, if you can stop time, you're the fastest person in the universe, because you just stop the time and then you go do stuff, and then you come back to where you were, or you go somewhere else and you can teleport. And so in the eyes of everyone else, you can teleport. You have the power of telekinesis, and you have the power of flash. So it's a really quite a practical superpower. And yeah, kudos to the beaver. That's a good one. And another superpower which was suggested would be the power to absorb other people's superpowers. And of course, the main drawback of this one is that if other people don't have superpowers, then you're sort of out of luck. You are basically just a normal person. And so in a world full of superpowers, it's a great superpower, because you get to sort of sneak up on some, I don't know how you steal their superpower, or you absorb it. Maybe you look at them, touch them, whatever. But you can take all these other people's superpowers as long as they're amenable to it and don't try to kill you while you do it. And yeah, fairly neat. But of course, this assumes you have superpowers to suck up, and if you don't, you're sort of stuck. Interesting. And so another one which was suggested, another power which was suggested would be the power to hit all of your no-scopes, which seems like aiming slightly low. And of course, I'm sure it was a joke, but it would be nice to hit all your no-scopes. But that would basically be an aimbot, which would take the joy out of the whole experience. Although you probably would still have a good time owning people and making amazing montages. So, but the serious power suggested by Slaughter was the power to absorb knowledge and information by touching things. Like touching someone, you can absorb knowledge, maybe their feelings. You can be really empathetic. You could absorb whatever's in their mind. Of course, you could that involves basically breaking into someone's mind and stealing the information out of it. That could be sort of frightening. And then, of course, the other thing is that what if you saw someone's mind that you really didn't want to know, like what they actually thought of you? And of course, being able to absorb all the information of a book by touching it would be super useful, also making you a little bit lazy. My only worry with that power is that I think it might almost make it you take things like knowledge for granted to the point to where you don't appreciate it anymore. And it seems like everything that people don't work for, they don't appreciate as much, and that seems like a hazard with that superpower there. But definitely a really good one. If you use it well, yeah, there's a lot of knowledge to absorb. But if you touch your computer screen, could you absorb the entire internet? Your head might explode instantly. But still, that's pretty cool too. And so, if I was going to invent a superpower, for some reason the ones that pop into my mind are not very super, but they're awesome. Like, I think it'd be amazing to be able to change your body odor to whatever odor you wanted. Your BO, your farts, whatever it is. If you could just change them to whatever odor you wanted, that'd be so incredibly useful. You'd never have to shower. Well, if you didn't want to shower, of course. You never have to worry about letting one go in public because it would just smell like roses or your cologne or whatever, and everyone would be like, wow, it's an amazing smell, instead of, get away from me, you vile, toxic, ambulatory pigpen. I think that'd be really cool. Of course, I'd probably just spend months on end smelling like bacon. People probably would begin to wonder about my sanity, with my, it'd be constantly sniffing me on armpits. Yeah, it could be awkward looking. But to smell of bacon forever, that's a form of heaven too. The other power which I would love, and I think would be incredibly useful, would be the power to understand things which don't normally communicate with people, or which don't normally communicate with adults. Like the animal, you have the horse whisperer, the dog whisperer, to be an everything whisperer. You can look at a spider and know what it's thinking about and what it's trying to communicate with the universe. Or, I mean, we don't know. There's all kinds of untapped knowledge and communication going on in the world. There's cats meowing. There's things, there's spiders vibrating their little legs and waving their. Have you seen the mating dances of like the jumping spiders where they're waving their legs up and down and sideways and diagonally and the little foofs of color are popping out and they're hopping, jittering sideways? It could be this epic spider love poem, which we just have no access to because we don't understand them. The world's foremost philosopher could be a garden spider sitting idly in the middle of its web and contemplating the mysteries of the universe and how the wind affects the ethers of life is a real, true possibility. So, of course, people mostly would want to interact with their pets and understand what their cat's meowing about and their dog's tail wagging means and all that stuff. And you'd probably be able to have a rather lucrative employment going around to people's houses and letting them know what Fluffy is thinking about them. And of course, you probably have to lie quite a bit because I imagine that Fluffy doesn't think about them very much. Well, if Fluffy's a cat. If Fluffy's a dog, then Fluffy will only be thinking constant sycophantic thoughts about them, but maybe not all that flattering. Like, you remember the previous thing about your BO smelling good. Dogs seem to like things stinkier and stinkier, so maybe your dog is the only reason why it really hangs around you and likes you is because it just thinks you stink wonderfully. And so, yes, that superpower could be cool. And I think the real potential there is tapping the unknown spider philosophers of the universe. I'm thinking about pretty much wrapping up this commentary here, so guys, of course, like, subscribe, be sure to suggest more karaoke songs for me to sing, and if you have any special requests for if you want to sing like completely a cappella or with a background track or whatever that is, be happy to oblige and crank those out for you. And of course, I constantly need new topics, so please keep the topic suggestions coming, and remember that you guys are the ones which are guiding the course of these commentaries, and you can make them as interesting and fascinating as you want based off your suggestions. So I will see you guys later, and have a wonderful week. We have the sound canceling earphones now where you sort of block out everything. But because thinking of babies made me think of this, a specific sound canceling earphone would be amazing, one which blocked out only really, really annoying shrieking children, or only blocked out certain, music whenever it came on the radio, or whatever. You could just choose what you didn't want to hear, and this earphone would block it out. That would be pretty awesome. Tune to someone's voice, whatever the case may be, little brother, little sister, they could be annoying to their heart's content. Totally gone, blissful peace without having to block out everything else. So there's definitely a market to be made there. And